The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Puff in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
Earnestly Podcast coming to you late night, January 15th, 2025. It is once again the Divisional Weekend edition of EJ versus Degenerate, and of course, joined here by my favorite degenerate on the planet. That's Zachary himself. Late night tonight, man. You look a little cooked, man. You were working tonight late?
Man, I have been working since 7:30 this morning.
And I think you told me that you work every day until Super Bowl Sunday. Is this true?
That's every day or night until Super Bowl Sunday.
You are a crazy person, man. You don't ever rest?
Yeah, it's going to be called 2 weeks in June.
Vacation?
Yeah.
Anyway, this will be an easy show today. We're down to four games left now. God, it always gets sad on this time when the football season comes to an end, you know? It's a little sad.
This is about the time I start to pay attention to basketball.
Like, really lock in. Like, we obviously watch games, but, like, even I said that, too, on the podcast. Like, I obviously love NBA basketball, but especially this year is a little harder to, like, get into the year, like, totally, because, number one, football, of course, both college and pros. Number two, election year, so I'm locked into all the election coverage, you know. So it was a lot harder to, like, kind of really embrace the NBA season in the way I normally do. But at this time is when I really ratchet up the NBA. Like, to me, I feel more comfortable talking about the NBA more now because I'm actually, you know, there's less NFL games, less college games I have to worry about. So that now the NBA season really gets into focus now.
Absolutely.
You know? So, but we are here, Divisional Weekend, 4 games left. I won last week, by the way, by one game actually. So that was a tight one. But
I would have thought you smoked me, man. As bad as I did on my bets.
Yeah, I got destroyed a couple of times. Like for example, prop bets like crazy, man. I mean, not destroyed because the props almost did hit, but it was always one game I was off on one prop. Then the heartbreaker of all heartbreakers. I'm sure you know about this. I told you at the bar on Monday. Saquon Barkley's last play of the game had Saquon went to the house. I had 3 legs left to check off. He houses that run to the end zone instead of falling down. All 3 of those check marks are all hit. Saquon Barkley anytime touchdown. Saquon Barkley over in rushing yards, and then the over in the game itself. All would have hit if Saquon had done that. But again, he made the right move as a team player. You know, it's so hard, dude. It's hard rooting against him because I hate that team, but it's a great dude, great team player.
First off, they were so far ahead. No, you just score, man. Just freaking score.
Even they told him that. Even his coach has said something else too.
It's one thing when you have a 7-point lead, and that's it. But when there's no chance of them scoring right away, nah. You go right ahead, score, do your thing,
especially
buddy.
when Jordan Love's and this trash he was on Sunday. Oh my God, we'll get the quarterbacks later in the back of the show. I'm going to do a little segment on the end of the episode, kind of reviewing where we were, where you and I stood on our quarterback rankings entering the year. We do it every year during the NFL previews. We do 2 separate episodes. We do the over-unders for each team, and then another episode we rank all 32 quarterbacks. I want to review, kind of see where we're at and what we probably are going to forecast going to next year's rankings and whatnot. But first, let's get to the games. We got 2 Saturday games. First off, Texans at Chiefs. The Chiefs are -9, 9-point favorites. The over/under 41, Zach. So the Texans pulled off. They pull off the upset against the Chargers. Chiefs and I feel like the Chiefs haven't played a game since like freaking last year.
I mean, they certainly haven't cared about a game since that late
Right.
last year.
Yeah.
I mean, so I mean, if I'm looking at this, I gotta take the over. That is such a low over. 41 points. I understand the Chiefs got a great defense, but Texans are gonna score at least 14 to 17 points against the Chiefs. So if the Chiefs are gonna cover a 9-point spread, it's an over game. So I'll take the over.
See, that's my fear now. Not one game on wildcard week went over, and I bet a couple over. I bet a couple overs on that. By the way, for the record, and that did not hit whatsoever. So now I'm fearful of doing that. But the thing is, you do the opposite thing the opposite week, then the thing you thought wouldn't happen happens again on the other way. So I understand that. I'll say as much. That over-under is low enough to take the over. I'm with you, and I'm more. And I feel like that maybe it will hit on this game. But I think KC. Look, Houston is for as much underwhelming season has been for them, winning a game that pretty much 80% of the public had them losing, I think it makes the season a good year for them. The fact that
absolutely.
And by the way, Trevor Lawrence, not Trevor Lawrence, but Justin Herbert for record, got that conversation about him going forward about, where he stands in the pecking order of things, because he now has two bad playoff losses. One, a blown lead against the Jaguars a couple of years back, and then this week, of course, against the Texas team that probably should have beaten. Really threw more picks in that game than the entire season. What a meltdown by that guy. Meanwhile, CJ Stroud, 2 years in the league, 2 playoff wins.
Hey, this was the guy you thought was going to be an MVP this year. So
yeah. I mean, underwhelming season overall, but yeah, exactly. But this is where the ride ends, man. Obviously, I'm assuming you think the Chiefs win the game. I mean, I don't think that's too. I don't think that's silly enough to think otherwise. I think KC covers this game. Actually, to be honest with you, even 9 points.
Wow.
This is their time to shine, and not for nothing. Denver Broncos lost aside, because they didn't play anybody for that game. They've been playing very good football, and their offense has gotten much better the last couple of weeks prior to that Broncos game. Of course, because we don't count that game. Mahomes is starting to pick up the slack now, and the offense is playing much better. And remember that game in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day? Slaughter those guys. They've been playing much better offensive football the last couple of weeks. So, and with rest now, they're gonna get guys back this week off injury. I feel like, yes, it's gonna be a competitive game in spots, but ultimately it's an Arrowhead. I think KC will find a way to cover 9 points, and I think the best bet is to cover 9 points because KC is who they are. So KC is the best bet for me, minus 9. All right, next game here. Here we go. Your game. Your Commanders at Lions. The Commanders are 9.5-point favorites. The over-under, Zachary, 55. Wow.
Look, I mean, we score points. Detroit scores a ton of points.
Yeah.
I mean, 55 is a lot. I was expecting maybe 51, 52 max.
Yeah. Because the playoffs, right?
Yeah. If I was on Hard Rock's app, I would be betting Detroit total point over, first half over. But as a Commander fan, and the fact Detroit is going to be so amped, I'm actually going to go under for the game.
Really?
Yes, because if Detroit shows up, their defense will show up, and they'll give Washington a hard time.
Similar to what they did in Minnesota 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. I don't disagree, because when we're doing our picks on the Huddle Up podcast last night, because the way we do it on there with the picks, we do both the spread and the over-under. We pick both. And I said, I think this is going to be under. I was the only one in the panel that took the under, because I think the defense will show up at least somewhat against Detroit. And the playoffs, too, also. Yeah, I mean, you got to figure Washington might be a little tight. I mean, you think so, but Jane Daniels is playing a damn veteran. Like, how long has he been in the league now? Seriously. If you look at Jane Daniels, you didn't know nothing about Jane Daniels. You see that quarterback, you think, oh my God, that guy's been in the league 4, 5, 6 years.
19 games typically means you're halfway through your second season. So
Oh, I get that. I get that. But still, I mean, the composure of that kid, you guys have a that guy's gonna terrorize my team for the next 10 years. At least 10 years. So that being said, you have the under. I have the under too also, but I don't think it's the best bet. The best bet for me here is actually Detroit. I just think, and again, healthy too on top of that. Montgomery's back this week. I think Hutchinson's back also this week. He's back soon. I know that.
yeah.
Home crowd will be buzzing. Yeah, could I see this game being competitive in spots and maybe third quarter they're within range? Maybe Commanders have a chance to tie a game, maybe take a lead, possibly. But I think ultimately Detroit is just too good. They are literally a system in itself, a machine, and I think they'll find a way to cover the 9.5 points. So the best bet for me is taking Detroit. Detroit to cover 9.5 points.
Yeah, I really hope Detroit wins because if Washington pulls the upset, I don't know if my wife or my wife probably won't talk to me for a week.
I'm just going to ask you that. How's that going to work out? Because she's a Lions fan.
Probably will hate my guts. So,
but they understand you're a longtime Commanders fan, right? It is what it is.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They all believe it's a Super Bowl this year. So yeah, if my team were to be the one that screws that up, it'd be bad.
And I'll tell you what, too, also, this is something Chris Chrismanic alluded to on the show before the year started. And he even said this even last year, that this window for the Lions might be shorter than we think because of the amount of interest in the coaching staff, who has done a phenomenal job these last 3 years. Aaron Glenn definitely got a lot of talk for coaching jobs. He's already taking interviews as is. Ben Johnson also too. So this window to win a title, or at least get to the Super Bowl, is now, really for the Lions.
Yeah, I don't see it that way because I think you have a solid 4 years left of this window for Detroit. Hutchinson, second year. Jahmyr Gibbs, second year. You have Jared Goff. He's locked into a contract. The only big money concern right now, because they signed St. Brown, is literally probably deciding, do they give a franchise tag, or actually, I don't even know if they have to worry about the franchise tag. It might be just picking up a fifth-year option on J-Mo this year, off-season.
Okay.
So that's about it. They don't really have much to worry about.
Right. All right. Well, in any case, Detroit is, to me, my best bet for this week on this game to cover. All right. Sunday games. Rams at Eagles. The Eagles are 6-point favorites. The over-under, Zach, is 44.
Oh, there's nothing out there that tells me the Rams are going to have a repeat performance like they did against the Vikings. Now, does that mean the Eagles show up and blow them out? I don't think so. Personally, I would lean more turn towards it being another under game. Because if you can stop Saquon Barkley with that pass rush that the Rams showed this past weekend, or on Monday night, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game again.
So here's a reference point here. These two teams played early this year. I think it was week 10. Saquon Barkley had 250-something yards rushing in that game. So if we're using that. Now having said that, the Rams are a much different team than they were in the middle of the year. They're healthier. They're young. Stafford's cooking right now. Receivers are healthy now. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both healthy. Williams, the running back, is playing very, very well. But the thing is, this game to me hinges on the weather. It's the weather game. If the weather is clear, the Rams have a chance. If the weather is a little bit mucky, windy, or snow, or rain, it's all Eagles. And I found out today that there's supposed to be snow coming in at about 2:30, right before kickoff, on Sunday. So if that plays out that way, Eagles. This is all Eagles. The best way for the Rams to win this game, honestly, they have to force Jalen Hurts the ball. They have to force a shootout. So they got to score. Almost every possession they have score. The more you score and the more you stay in that game, you're forcing the Eagles to throw the ball probably in a shootout, which means Jalen Hurts is the only guy that can make mistakes. Because if Saquon Barkley has the ball on the ground, he's gonna do what he does like he did last time in Week 10. Anyway, that being said, you have the under, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the Eagles to cover. That weather alone is scaring me. Now, however, if the weather is clear, if things clear up, on Sunday, then I like the Rams on the points. But because of the weather, I just think the Eagles, have all the advantages there. Home field advantage. Obviously, the Rams going out east. They're a finesse team. They don't do the weather thing. So, give me the Eagles here to cover 6 points here. Is my best bet. All right, and finally, here it is, the game of the year. Probably the best game of the entire playoffs, in my opinion. This is probably the Super Bowl, honestly, we're being honest. Ravens at Bills. Ravens are 1-point favorites. The over-under is 51.5, Zach.
I like the Ravens, man. Look, Ravens defense's second half of the season has probably been top 10. All right. Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, they're just going to run all over the Bills line. And I don't care how great Josh Allen plays, it's just not going to be enough.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love the Ravens in this game.
I do too. And this is less about Josh Allen in Buffalo, because what they've done this year has been very impressive. I'm not sure where you stood on this one, but I definitely had the Bills taking a step back this year. You lose Gabe Davis, you lose Stephon Diggs, and some defensive players also too on that side of the ball. This is not about Josh Allen. This is more about the roster somewhat looking as like a slow reset. And all they do is win 14 games, number 2 seed in the AFC. Josh Allen's my pick for MVP, and they've done everything possible. And so if they lose this game, I don't think it's necessarily them underwhelming, because quite frankly, I haven't gone to playoffs this year, and they've done everything more than I thought they do. Having said all that, as you mentioned with the Ravens in the second half of the year, since the bye week, because the big bugaboo this year, most of the year, was their defense was shit, and since the bye week, that has now been corrected. And to boot, you got those two guys on the other side of the ball, Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and Lamar Jackson with Derrick Henry now in that lineup is a completely different quarterback. He is now dangerous upon dangerous. And I'll tell you right now, let me ask you a question, this. Who's under more pressure to win this game? Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson?
Oh, I still think it's Lamar Jackson.
I agree.
His playoff record is abysmal. And now you have a weapon like Derrick Henry who can just run over anybody on any defense. He is scary.
Oh
okay,
God.
I guess Saquon Barkley put up more yardage,
Mm-hmm.
but if I'm picking a running back for this year or next year, it's Derrick Henry. That dude is scary when you combine him with Lamar.
Yep, I totally agree with you. You saw in that game too. Also, Lamar early in the game, he's running out of the pocket. He's stretching that defense. He's kind of like throwing jabs at the defense, and then here's Derrick Henry later on with the knockout. That's the formula. Honestly, this game, I don't think this game's gonna be. When I say close, it's gonna be close, I guess, by the score. But Baltimore will control this game from start to finish. And to boot, they played early in the year in Baltimore, and Baltimore beat the crap out of them for the same reason. Derrick Henry ran all over him. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Derrick had 200 yards in the game. If I'm not mistaken.
I can easily see it again.
Yeah, I just think Baltimore is just better. They're just better. I think height of powers of all these 8 teams, height of powers, I think the Ravens are the best team in football.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think Derrick Henry is so motivated. I don't believe there's a defense that can stop him.
Yeah, so give me the Ravens to. I mean, obviously 1-point favorites. It's the best bet, but the Ravens outright. So I'm there. All right. So we during I mentioned earlier about quarterback lists, and we do during our preview every year, and I want to review where I stood. Well, this is my top 10. Where I stood my top 10 this year, entering the year. The order of my top 10 as follows: entering the season was Pat Mahomes 1, Lamar Jackson 2, Josh Allen 3, Joe Burrow 4, C.J. Stroud 5, Jalen Hurts 6, Matthew Stafford 7, Aaron Rodgers 8, Justin Herbert 9, and Dak Prescott at number 10. The 4 is going to stay the 4. We can tweak the order all you want. I don't care. But the 4 is the 4. We all agree to that, right?
Yeah, I don't even think you can tweak the top 4.
Right. I mean, the only thing you can tweak is the order.
Unless Lamar wins it. Depending on who wins the Super Bowl this year is the only way you can tweak the top 4.
Yeah. I don't think Burrow should go no higher than 4, though, right now.
No, absolutely not.
As great as he was this year, too, individually. I just think, we have Lamar and Josh Allen. They're going to playoffs now, every year, pretty much as starting quarterbacks. Joe Burrow has not gone in 2 years. Granted, last year he was hurt at the end of the year. But it is what it is, right? You can't control. It is what it is. You can't. And I'm not going to sit here and make a case. I said this week after Monday's game that number 5, I had Stroud number 5. Down year this year was Stroud. So he's out of the 5 right now. That's we agree with that? Stroud out of the 5 for the time being?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I am putting Matthew Stafford back number 5.
Yeah, and that's where we debated, and I disagree. I believe a guy you didn't even have in your top 10 should be number 5, and that's Jared Goff. All right.
I'm number 11.
I think what he's done over the last 2 years in Detroit warrants being number 5. Now, I get Stafford has the ring, but he literally has to have his 2 weapons or he can't do anything. So I just like Goff a little more than Stafford. I have Stafford at 6 right now.
Oh, okay. Number 6. Okay.
Yeah.
So if I had to do this all over again, okay, let me go through my list real quick. So 5 through 10, C.D. Stroud 5, Hurts 6, Stafford 7, Rodgers 8, Herbert 9, Prescott 10. Okay, it's clear that at least 2 of these guys are gone off this list.
Rodgers because he sucked, and Dak because he was injured.
Right. What about Herbert after this year? After this play performance? Was it that bad to come out of the top 10? Or is he still staying in the top 10?
I think he's borderline 10.
Okay.
Like, you're debating, is he 10 so that he's in the top 10?
Okay.
Like, for a guy who came into the league and has had so much hype, Harbaugh came in there and decided, you know what? I don't even want you throwing a football for half a season till I can figure out how I'm going to call plays for you. So I think even his coach knocked him down on the level with his peers.
But we agree. Okay, so we'll get number 10 for the time being. Number 10 for the time being. Okay. If we go with the Goff at number 5, that means there's a space of 2 guys here. Who are the 2 guys that you're gonna put in on this list that's not on the top 10 that you will put on this list right now?
So I would have Stafford 6. I would probably at this point go Jaden Daniels 7.
That's one of the guys on the list. That is correct.
Just because he is so mobile and his decision making is so great. Mm-hmm. And we saw when he's at his top of his game early in the season, it's 80+ completion percentage for an entire month. So he's just amazing. So if you put him 7,
there's still one spot open for someone who's not been there on the list.
And I think for me, Stroud is probably now 8.
Okay, I can live with that.
Just because, again, 2 years in a row playoff victories.
Okay. So you got 2 spots left.
So I'm looking for someone at number 9.
Okay, so your choice is: do you keep Jalen Hurts at number 9 in the top 10?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Jalen Hurts is probably number 9.
Okay. There's still a spot to open. There's still a spot to fill though. Because
who did I leave out?
We took out Dak. We took out Rodgers. We brought in Daniels.
And I brought in Hurts. Right?
Was Hurts on your top 10 last year? Year? I thought he was in your top 10.
Maybe. I'd have to look at my list, but then I'd have to turn off this.
Right. So let's go back to my list then. So let's do this right now. So we have the four guys. We agree: Mahomes,
Yeah.
Jackson, Allen, Burrow. Okay.
So you have Stafford
Goff.
5.
Yeah. Stafford. Well, I have Stafford 5.
I think you can't put Goff any lower than 6.
Well, here's what I'm gonna do. Stafford 5. I'm hard pressed to put, dude. To be honest with you, I am tempted to put Daniels on a 6.
I can't go that far until after the game.
Right. Let's do it right now. Daniels 6.
Because it's a 1-year thing. I can't go 1 year and put someone that high. I can't be an Earnest Christian.
I'll go Goff 7. This is in the order. Goff 7. Hurts 9. I'm missing here. Hurts 9.
And you got CJ Stroud at 8, right?
Yeah, Stroud.
Stroud at 8, Hurts 9.
Why am I screwing up here? Something's not right though, because if there were two guys who were not on the list, we took out of the list out of the top 10 last year.
Well, you didn't have Goff or Daniels, so.
Oh, that's two guys. Yeah, right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's two guys. You're right. Those two guys. Okay.
Yeah.
And you hurt. So yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I would go my top 10 right now. And again, this is just based on forecasting. I'm not locking this in until August next year, and certainly the playoffs in the weeks to come can change all these things, though. But my top 10 right now, in no particular order: Mahomes, Jackson, Allen, Burrow, CJ Stroud's in there somewhere. Stafford 5, Stroud 6, Daniels 7, Goff, Jalen Hurts, and Justin Herbert.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty solid. I'm looking at the guys on the outside. So you got Brock Purdy in top 10.
I think Brock Purdy is your argument against Herbert. Brock Purdy literally was losing everybody. He lost his number 1 wide receiver, his number 2 wide receiver, his number 1 running back never showed up, basically. His defense was getting nailed every week with someone going down. You know, when it's a battle of attrition and you're trying to survive, I think you have to give some credit. And literally, the dude for the 2 years prior was outstanding when he had his weapons.
So let me review my rest of my 32. This is some of the standouts here. So I opened the year with Bo Nix at 32. I had Grant, I had it written Stidham and Nix at the time we weren't a stroll to start it yet. So I had Nix 32. He's definitely going to move up to the top 20. We agree with that, right?
Yeah, he's probably top 20.
Okay. I had Drake May 31.
He's definitely moved up.
Yeah, he probably in the bottom 20, bottom 15, bottom 10, but he's moved up. Sam Darnold at 30. He's got to move up by default before he did this year.
Yeah, I didn't even have him on the list because I expected J.J. McCarthy when we did this.
But
he was still healthy.
However, I had Darnold because at the time when the injury already happened, so we had baked it in. I had Jane Daniels 27. That's obviously the biggest gain on the entire list.
Will Levis is out now.
He's probably gonna be out. Anthony Richardson at 26. Yeah, it's
he's gonna be 32 now because the Colts are gonna give him another chance.
Okay. Deshaun Watson's 32.
Yeah, he ain't even gonna play this year.
That's true. Yeah, that's
season,
true.
So
Gardner Minshew's probably gonna be gone. Caleb Williams 22, probably gonna move down. Geno Smith 21, probably in the same spot there. Derek Carr 20, Russell Wilson 19.
I actually think Geno, because of all the attrition, moves up the list to like 15, 16.
Yeah. Russell Wilson 19, probably in the same spot. I thought he played well in spots, even in this losing streak. Kyler Murray in 18 moves up. Here's another big gain here too. Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield is probably. He's another debatable. So
he's a debatable top 10 guy too. Also,
yeah, he's gonna be 12. He's gonna be 10 through 12.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins at 16. He's going way down, of course.
Yeah.
Jordan Love.
He's off the list probably unless he signs with the Giants.
Kirk, shut up. Jordan Love 15. I think he stays there. he might move up a little bit, but the performance at Philadelphia on Sunday did not help his case. Tua at 14 stays there for now, I guess.
Yeah, because you saw what he did with the Dolphins. So
Brock at 13 is probably gonna stay there for the time being because I think there's a cluster between 11 and 14, man. I think there's a cluster between 11. There's a cluster between Trevor Lawrence, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Jordan Love, and then Baker Mayfield now.
I don't believe Trevor Lawrence even can be in the top 15 anymore. I think he's in the argument of whether or not he stays in the top 20.
I think there's a conversation for that now because because injuries too on top of that. Yeah. So yeah, I think this list, like again, we're not gonna lock anything down because we start the playoffs. Like, because right now, if Lamar wins the Super Bowl, he's number one. He goes to one.
Yeah.
End discussion. So Josh Allen can change. Josh Allen can change this also. So can Lamar Jackson. They win the Super Bowl this year. They go number one. So
yeah, I agree.
One more game. We have the national title game. We're going to add this to our best bets as well. So here we go. Ohio State, Notre Dame. Ohio State is 8.5-point favorites. The over under 46. Zach, this is a nightmare for me. I hate both these fucking teams. I hate both these teams.
So do I. So do I. But you know what? Because I can't stand Brian Kelly. All right. I cannot stand Brian Kelly with a passion.
He's not there anymore, though.
I know. So I wanted to stick a knife in the wound and twist it. So go Notre Dame.
So I'm trying to find reasons to is that the best bet though, Notre Dame +8?
Oh, +8, yeah.
Okay. So I'm trying to find reasons to root for Notre Dame, and I have a few. You know, I have friends of mine that are Notre Dame fans of obviously diehards, friends who come on this podcast regularly. Also have friends of mine who I do love, but I can't stand them because of their smugness of Notre Dame football. I hate Ohio State, obviously, but some of these people who are so heavy-handed on Ryan Day has made him. Some people has made Ryan Day a sympathetic figure to me now, which is weird.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, I think he's been dealt a heavy hand there in Ohio State, and I think I almost want to root for the guy just to say fuck you, even though I love when Michigan beats him. So yeah. I don't know. The best bet is Ohio State. I just think Ohio State's a better team, clearly. Notre Dame has to play a perfect game to keep staying in this game, and I think one mistake here. I mean, they got breaks against Penn State, and Penn State's not all that great. Ohio State won't make the same mistakes. So the best bet for me is Ohio State. But who knows, man? I fucking hate both these schools. I will say also, I do love Marcus Freeman, though. I'm a big fan of him. So if anything, if Notre Dame does win this game, I'll be happy for Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, has a bit of an Obama vibe to him, sort of.
Look, when Brian Kelly showed up to LSU with the fake accent, that was the end-all, be-all. He was already a major crybaby. He was literally putting guys at risk for their life when he was at Notre Dame, when it came to camera crew people. So, yeah, I want to see a knife go in him and it get twisted. Please, Notre Dame.
He might be on the hot seat, honestly, going to next year.
Oh, he will be.
It might be, after Lincoln Riley, the hottest seat in college football.
Well, don't forget our coach, Norville, who I think should have already been fired.
Yeah, well, okay. Top three, definitely. Kelly, Norvell, and Lincoln Riley. The three guys on the hottest seats in college football next season. Anyway, Zach, good luck with your picks. Always. All right, buddy. Get some sleep, buddy.
Yeah, man. My phone's about to die.
All right, brother. Later.